Hello, this is Amy from paperandspool.com, and I'm here today to show you my December daily foundation pages. I'm trying something a little bit different this year and using a clear acrylic album from ColorCast Designs. I am on the ColorCast Designs creative team, so I received this album for free, but I would have probably picked it anyways. I have now 4 December dailies in regular albums and was looking for something a little bit different this year. And when Jessica at ColorCast made these and showed us, I was super excited to give it a try. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to keep these silver rings or try to find maybe a black ring, or I've seen some rose gold rings on Amazon, but they were super expensive, so I'm not sure if it's worth it for me to buy something like that, but I might change out these rings at some point. But when you purchase the album, you get the rings included, and she's just got the 2 holes, but the 6 punched page protectors do fit in the 2 ring system. And this is the 6x8 album, so you can see the 6x8 page protectors fit nicely inside. There's a little bit of space at the top and the bottom, and then they kind of come right out to the edge. So let me kind of walk you through what I've got here. I usually like to start these videos by telling you what I bought, and I feel a little bit bad this year because I bought almost everything. So I have Ali's main kit, I have the Paisley Press mini kit from this year, I bought a few things from ColorCast Designs, and then I bought quite a bit of this collection, which is Crate Paper's Merry Days. And I love it. It's absolutely amazing. It's got the dark greens that I was going for this year. I wasn't thinking about including red, but since this has little tiny bits of red in it, I am going to include some red, and then pink and a little bit of blue. It's hard to tell from this, but this little leaf is a light icy blue kind of thing. It's very like Rifle Paper Company-esque, with like the little illustrated drawings, and I feel like it's a good complement to Ali's more graphic, word-focused kit. Because she doesn't really do a lot of this little like illustrated type of stuff, which is fine. It's not her style, and that's totally okay. But it's nice to kind of add some things in. So for the Merry Days, I got the chipboard, a few of the paper pieces, and the 6x8 paper pad. So that's what I've got going on in here. I also downloaded, again, my friend Marie does a calendar every year. You can find her on Instagram or her blog, which is stitchandtime.typepad.com, and she has these downloadable calendars. So I downloaded the calendar that has kind of the little illustrated top part, which kind of fit in well with the theme I was going for here. And then I added in some of the puffy stickers from the Merry Days and a few of our activities that I know already, just in a cute little font, and then printed it out. It was easy as that. So I'm going to try and focus this on the products that I've got in here, so that if there's any questions about the products, hopefully this video will answer it. And here I've got just a tag that I made out of white cardstock, and I'm going to put a picture on this side of all of us. And I've already started getting some stuff ready in the 2018 from the Paisley Press. I really loved that because it's similar to one that was in last year's Paisley Press kit. And this stamp, the details, is from also last year's Paisley Press stamp. I was kind of joking. This is a page from the Merry Days paper pad, and it's really beautiful. It's like ivory with gold embossed leaves all around, and I was joking with my husband. I was like, do you ever have anything so nice you're totally afraid you're going to ruin it? And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin this page. So this is probably going to be the home for my reason why or intentions or something like that, and then I'll want to put like our family Christmas card photo here. That hasn't been taken yet. And then that'll be number 1. I've had a number 1 in here, but I must have lost it or somewhere along the way. My philosophy of foundation pages is that I just want to put in the things that I'm really intent on using. So I want to keep this pink going throughout the album. I love this rose gold foil, so I want to keep that going. I have so many supplies from over the years, and I do tend to give a lot away and make some for my sister-in-laws as well. But I want to make sure that the things that I really want to use are in here to start with, so that I don't forget to use them. That's often my challenge, is like I get to the end of the season, I'm like, man, I didn't even use that awesome cool thing that I had. This is just an alphabet from Studio Calico that I painted green. I found some green craft paint that matched my color scheme at Michael's. I can't remember, I think it was like Hunter Green. It was an off-brand, kind of cheap, $1.99 craft paint thing. This is more of that Merry Days collection. This is a number from Color Cast Designs. I'm not sure if Jessica still has it in the shop, as are these. But they're really cute little things. Deck the Halls, that's from the Paisley Press. This was kind of a happy accident. I've had this transparency page in my stash for ages. I think it was DIY Shop, which was like an American crafts line that they did for a while called like DIY Shop. It had like the gold handled scissors and the gold staplers and everything. But it absolutely is the exact same font that Allie used for her little numbers this year. And the 5 happened to be right in the middle after I cut this out, so I just adhered it. It was slightly larger. You can kind of see a bit of a shadow of it. But I just adhered it right onto the transparency with red line tape. And so that's kind of going to be a cool thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for photos or anything on that day, but I thought that was a neat look. And it worked out perfectly for day 5 here. I have a mixture of page protectors in here. My goal for the year was actually to try and do less in page protectors and more just in the rings kind of thing. So some of these might be coming out as I go, but what I like for foundation pages is to at least have like a home for some of these things that I know I want to use, because I might end up putting this 7 somewhere completely different. I might end up just leaving it there because I kind of like that look of those big numbers floating in the pockets. But that way it's handy and available to me, and I can always take out the page protector. I mean, I can always add in as well, but this just gives me a start. I don't ever feel too stuck to these ideas as I go through. This is also that Merry Days collection. It's got a great green and blue illustration on the back. So they're just a placeholder, and those of you who've seen me scrap and have seen my foundation pages versus the finished product in the past know that this is very changeable for me. I don't stick to it really, and sometimes I might, and sometimes I might change it completely, which is totally okay. I ended up with a couple of surprises this year. Like, you know how sometimes where you order a thing and you're like, yeah, it's pretty good, I like it. And then it arrives and you're like, oh, that thing that I didn't even realize is even better than I thought it would be. This card here, it's got like pink shadow behind the trees and then the rose gold foil. Oh man, I love that. That's awesome. It really reminds me, really love this company, and I was able to stop there when I was in LA last, called Sugar Paper, and if you're not following them on Instagram, you should, because their feed is totally awesome. But it's very like Sugar Paper-esque, that white with the little bit of color and then the foil, which is awesome. This is an old chipboard number, or wood veneer number from A Week in the Life kit, I think, the number 9 here. Very old. And again, more of that crepe paper. Here's a transparency. I love transparencies. Often the most questions I get asked are, where do you get your transparencies? And I just try to pick them up wherever. This one is actually Felicity Jane from last year. I ordered the transparency package from her last year and didn't use any of them, I don't think, in last year's album. And then this year they just really fit the aesthetic that I'm going for, that kind of that black and white with a little bit of color. I ended up, okay, you guys will get me on this one. I'm gonna have to fix this later because these are not equal distance apart. I just kind of stuck them down and I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then I looked at it later, I was like, oh, it's not fine, not at all. But here's a page from the December Daily Logbook. That's an old logbook. I haven't bought a logbook. This was from the year that it was like included as a gift with purchase when you purchase the main kit. And there's so many pages in these logbooks that I'm still using it. I've still got pages. I've got tons of pages left actually. But I like to throw a few in. I do use them as their like intended design as a log, but I also like to just kind of put them in the album because it gives like a little bit of a resting place or kind of a continuity thing. As you go from year to year, you can see it. This is a page from this year's main kit that I absolutely adore. It's just got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the little divided lines. I think Allie did something similar to this with like stars last year. And I loved that page and thought I would recreate it this year, but then she made it easy for me and just did the page like that in the kit. So I'm gonna be using that one for sure. Not sure again what I'm gonna put in it, but it's there and ready to go. So I did a letter for each person in our family. You saw the A previously, and I've got C for my husband Chris, and then I've got an M. And then here you can just see, again, just placeholder basically. I've got my 11, I've got my 12. I want to use those fabric stars and that C, but I don't know what it's going to end up looking like. And it might end up being out of the pocket. So that'll be fine. This is a wood veneer ampersand from Studio Calico. They had like an ampersand set. And I am all about a good ampersand, so I grabbed that set twice, possibly 3 times. I think just twice. And then numbers from an old, last year's main kit, I think, or maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly. Some other cards. This is a transparency from last year's Paisley Press. That's kind of nice. I have learned throughout this project to never throw anything away. I didn't love this card last year. It didn't fit with anything that I was trying to do. I thought, man, that's a weird color combination. I don't love it. I almost gave it away, and then I just kept it in my box. I have a big box of all December product. And this year, it fits exactly with what I'm trying to do and the pink that I have running through the album. So I was like, oh, great, I can use that now. So it's just a good lesson to don't get rid of it. Keep it. You might use it. You never know. This is another transparency from the Felicity Jane pack. You can see here those little snowflakes hanging down on kind of strings. Really cool piece. I sometimes struggle with these little 2x2 page protectors. So you'll notice I only have one in here right now, and I may only do one this year. I much prefer that, like last year I used that wonky chipboard piece with like all the little wonky circles, and it's the same amount of openings as this, but I like the looseness of that better than this. Seems rigid to me and it doesn't seem as flexible. So I'll probably play around with it a little bit more. I haven't come up with any good ideas. This is a Gossamer Blue chipboard piece, which unfortunately you can't get anymore. She's no longer selling kits to my knowledge. But that was a nice chipboard piece. I think it was from the 2015 Christmas kit designed by Paisley Press, so it goes well with the kits that Liz has designed for Allie as well. This is a really old piece from a Jasmine Jones kit of many years ago, but I bought the digital because I loved that kit so much that I can now use those whenever I like. This is a page that I've shared a little bit already on Instagram and a lot of you are loving. I used my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch to make this little envelope, and then I just have a tag in there right now. It's a really cute paper. This is a Studio Calico paper from many years ago, and a really, really cute paper, and just put a tag in there. And you can see even the blue running through these leaves. Love that number, like so cute, and just a good setup there. So the 15th of the month is when I tend to kind of tire out a little bit, and I'm like, oh right, we've still got kind of halfway there. And so I'm hoping to just do that as a bit of a rest day and maybe just write some journaling and call it good. This is another favorite piece, this little Rubber Joy. This one here, you'll see that I don't actually have anything adhered down. I've also shared this one on Instagram, but I'm just going to do something with circles. This wood veneer circle is actually a sticker. These are from Color Cast Designs, and she does these really, really thin wood veneers with stickers on the back. And so they're so easy to use, like you don't have to pull out your adhesive. So my plan is to put a photo in there and then to create kind of like a waterfall of circles. And I've got a 16 there for that one. So that's gonna be fun. And again, in that dark green that I'm really loving this year. This is another piece from the crepe paper, Merry Days, and just beautiful little illustrated like December activities. So I really love that. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. But it's like one of those things where you love the paper so much, you're like, I've got to use that somehow. I was so sad. I am getting down to my very last few tags. I believe these tags were from the 2015 main kit from Allie. And so I was super limited this year with what numbers I could do. I think I had a 7 and a 17. And so 17 it is. It goes into the album. I still have like 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, all those ones because I don't do 31 days in my album. I do to 25. But, so that's a little sad. I'll have to start making my own. These are also a really fun little thing. I think this was from the 2013 main kit. And I still have tons of them because I only use like 1 or 2 every year. But they're like little paper clippy kind of things. So I'll try to find a fun way to use that this year. I bought myself, for my business, I teach music and I make a lot of music games for my students. I bought myself a color laser printer, so I was super excited this year about the possibility of creating color transparencies, because I've never bought the inkjet transparencies. I've only ever had the laser ones. So I've had black and white ones that I made myself in the past, but now I have the ability to do the color ones at home. And so I just created this green plaid. I love plaid in the wintertime. We live in a very cold climate, so for us, anything warm and cozy like that flannel plaid is very welcome. Few more little things. This is from the Emily Lay mini kit a couple of years ago. An old paisley press card, an old, this is last year or maybe 2 years ago now, main kit. Really cute card. I've tried to use it a couple of times. It's never made it into the album. So I've got it in here to be like, hey Amy, remember to use that. This year, I also, before any of the December daily stuff went on sale, I made a few of my own numbers. And so this is one. I had some Cricut leatherette, I think they're calling this, faux leather with like a wood grain finish. And then I just cut out a whole bunch of my own in the same font as the old ones that I had from Allie's main kit. But just kind of a cool way, because I was able to size it up like it's a little bit larger. And I have, I think, 3 different sizes I made. I made small ones, these medium ones, and then I made some bigger ones as well. So the nice thing about this leatherette is that you can sew through it. So in the past, I've kind of sewn through it and added it to a page. So I can see that as like maybe something I would do with this, is sew it on. Again, it might be in the pocket, it might be outside of the pocket, and this is just a way to keep it in there. Some more of that paper from the front. I like to kind of continue the theme throughout the album so that I've got some in there on the back as well. Another one of those clips. This is Gossamer Blue, and this is paisley press from last year's kit. I really love that card. Dear Santa, I'm not sure if I'll have Max color on this one or if I will write something. He's getting so good with writing that I'm excited to have one that he writes out some actually words this year, which will be fun. Max is 5, for those of you who've been following along with me. So he's in kindergarten, doing a little bit more. I love this card altogether for the holidays, and I think I had it in my foundation pages last year, but never ended up using it. So it's in again this year. Now, I realized that I got to 24 really fast, and then I had a whole bunch of other stuff ready. So again, I might be moving a lot of this around during the actual month. This one is something from, I think this is like a football quote, but we're Canadian, we don't football. Sorry to you who might football, and I think this is from Friday Night Lights, but we hockey, we're cold. We have no other choice but to play hockey up here. That's why there's so many good Canadian hockey players. But anyways, we make a backyard rink. Those of you who follow me on Instagram might have seen it in my Insta stories as we're kind of getting it ready, and seen it in my album last year. We've done a rink in the backyard for the last 2 years, and my husband already has this year's, the boards are set up and the liners in the house waiting for the weather to get cold enough for us to put it out and fill it. So I know that I'll have. And that's a great thing too, like as I look back on my old albums, seeing the themes that are running through those old albums, that I'm like, yes, I can predict that this is going to be a story I'm going to want to include. So I've got that here and ready for some photos of the rink. These are so cool. I don't know if you guys have tried these out. These are the 3x8 page protectors, and Ali released them with a different size ratio. So this is a 3x6 and this is a 3x2. And I really love that divide. It's just another way to create layers in your album, an unusual size difference, but you could even take a 4x6 and just trim it a little bit to get it into this 3x6. Because I know sometimes when we're in the 6x8 size, the horizontal 4x6s work really, really great. Easily pop it in, you're good to go. And sometimes when you have a vertical 4x6, you're like, oh man, do I cut this down to a 3x4? Do I enlarge it to a 6x8? Or what do I do with it? But this is a great, if you've got your photo subject in the middle, you can just kind of trim it down. So I might be doing that on the back or something like that. And So I've got lots here yet. That's another, I can't remember. Does anybody remember what kit this was from? I have no clue. I tried to search for it back through some pictures of old kits. I have no idea. I'm not sure if it's from an Ally kit or a Jasmine kit in the past from Jasmine Jones. I don't even know. So if you know, let me know in the comments because I'm mystified. I've looked and looked and looked. I've used it in a frame as an art print on my mantle for years, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna throw it in the album this year. But then I tried to figure out where it's from. I have no clue. And so I've got a few more page protectors and another transparency here at the back. This one, I accidentally put the tab on the top. I don't know what I was thinking, but there's a little tab on the top there. That's okay. I'm not too bothered by it. It kind of reminds me of trees. Kind of a cool one. I think this is from A Beautiful Mess. Back when they were still selling scrapbook supplies, which is ages ago now. And then some more cards. This was my favorite card in the Paisley Press Mini this year. It's not what's under the tree that matters, it's who's gathered around it. And I absolutely adore that. So I'll definitely be, if I don't end up getting photos into the album this far along, I'll definitely be moving that forward to include it. And then I just printed this one again. I printed this myself. This is just like a buffalo plaid. But I like to have something on the back under that cover because I feel like that's kind of a cool look. So I've got the Merry Everything on the front and then the buffalo plaid on the back. And you can see there, I really love to have things sticking out the top. So as we go, I'll be making more tags to do that and have those ribbon spots. My collection of trims is slightly embarrassing. I've got so many. And then I'll probably try to have some stuff sticking out the side as well. So it's not, it's certainly not filling the rings right now, which is good because I have always found that in the beginning, you kind of get a few things in there and then as you start adding the photos, it really starts to bulk up. And I like the chunky books. So I'm hoping that it doesn't end up like this, like so full that it doesn't close properly. But yeah, there you go. So that's a look at my 2018 setup. And oh, I don't think I talked about this at the beginning. This is just, I made this myself with my silhouette and some rose gold Cricut vinyl. And then I just transferred it onto the transparency. Because I was looking at a few different things and I love this peek through look. I'll probably put like a family photo. I might even add 2018 at the bottom here because I do think it's good to remember when things are from rather than try to look through and be like, how old were you when this happened? So I'll probably try to include the year there yet as well, but I got started and I love that look. So I'm gonna be trying to use this font throughout the album as I go, and I found it on Font Squirrel. I think it's called Frente, F-R-E-N-T-E, Frente, and it's very like Rae Dunn inspired to me. Like her writing is very similar to this, and I have a few Rae Dunn pieces that I really, really love. So I'm gonna try and use that throughout the album to kind of keep it cohesive. I'm also planning on using my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter, and I hope that you'll join me in December working on December Daily. Thanks, guys.